Hey, happy Monday, everybody. Paul Brantz with This Week in Interest Rates. We're going to talk about some programs, some events that we're hosting this week and next week and ongoing, by the way. We have this really exciting program that if you're a doctor, I cannot wait for you to hear about this. This is going to save you tons of money and truly may be the difference between whether you get approved or not for a loan. Isn't that crazy that our doctors, they accumulate so much debt going through school so they could heal us, and they have a hard time getting a loan? Well, not no more, not anymore, not no more, not anymore. We have a great loan for you, and there's a couple other things that we're going to talk about, like for example, what to look for this week as it relates to interest rates. Interest rates are really having a lot of positive momentum. So a lot of great stuff here. Let's talk about first up, let's talk about some upcoming events that I'm hosting. I'm really excited for this Clear to Grow webinar series that I'm hosting. You know, my clients that we've gotten into homes and refinances, we've saved them a lot of money on interest rates. Now it's time to really help them take their finances to that next level, whether it be retirement, whether it be life insurance, everything. And so our first webinar, which I'm really excited to see, we're having Rebecca Jameson. She's a Priority One financial coach. She has such a powerful story. The moment I heard her story, I knew there was something very special about her, especially as it relates to budgeting, paying off debt, living within your means. It's not only just tracking, but it's also a mindset and a family dynamic. It's crazy. I hope you make it. It's going to be life-changing. It's going to be great information. Secondly, this Thursday, so Rebecca's next Thursday, this Thursday coming up, and every other week after that, I'm hosting a free first-time homebuyers webinar. We're going to talk about how to win in this market, things to look forward. You know, the thing is when you look at the media and it's talking about shrinking, it's really looking at a national level. However, when you look at these little pockets of towns, everyone's different, and so important to know what's going on in your market. And this webinar is going to help you decide whether buying is right for you or not, and how to do it to save the least amount of money. So super excited. All right, let's bring up today's rates. They continue to improve. They went down by about 1/8% from last week. I can tell you we've locked a lot of refinances. If you're considering refinancing, now is a great time. We locked someone at 5.625, 30-year fixed rate conventional with no points. That's huge. That's a rate we haven't seen in a while. But if you look at VA, conventional, jumbo, now these rates are still shown with 1 point. I do think given the right house, I got to tell you, though, it's starting to pick up that the negotiating power is starting to dwindle a little bit between the buyers and sellers. But I still think given the right house, you'd be able to negotiate the seller paying that 1 point for you to really lock in that rate. Now, remember, when we take a look at where rates are projected, these rates are much, much lower than where they're currently be. So it's a really interesting, great time to nab that house if you find the right one. Let's talk about a little myth here. This still comes up a lot of conversations for me. Should I wait? I know the feds are going to lower the rates, etc. Now remember, the feds fund rates, the rates that you hear on the media, have nothing to do with 30-year fixed. Indirectly they do, but they're not tied directly to 30-year fixed rates. So when you hear about Jerome Powell being replaced, the Fed, etc., these are all short-term rates. And what's key is 30-year fixed rates have already taken into consideration the expected rate declines that are projected to happen this year. So the only thing that could change interest rates, well, let's start with the improvement, is if they reduce the rates even more, or they, probably more importantly, come out and really talk dovish about the economy, employment, have positive things to say about inflation coming down. Other than that, waiting for the feds to lower their rates. In fact, Last 2 out of 3 times the Feds lowered their interest rates, 30-year fixed rates actually went up. So people that waited, no, they lost out a little bit on that. So it's important to understand the differences, how they interact with each other. If you have more questions on that, reach out. That is super important in determining when to lock in a rate and understanding how this all works. Last week, we talked about 100% financing, even for non-first-time homebuyers. This week, if you know a doctor, this is something that is going to help them save money, tons of money. So these doctor loans are absolutely incredible. They go up to about $2 million. They have, anywhere from 95 to 100% financing with no mortgage insurance. Student loans, no problem. In certain cases, we can even exclude them. The point is that if you know a doctor, or if you're a doctor, if you're a real estate agent, searching for homes for a doctor and they can't get approved, this loan is not offered by many people. It's offered by, I think, one big bank and one lender from the broker world. So I'm very excited to have this product to be able to give it to our doctor friends. We're going to help you save a lot of money. And this one is, so more information, please reach out. I'd be happy to walk it through. In fact, if you're a doctor, go ahead and scan this QR code. That leads you to my hopes and dreams conversation. Let's just have a conversation about this. Let's see how this can impact you. We're not going to take an application, pull your credit, collect your documents. We don't need to do that in order to show you what's possible. That QR code will allow you to book an appointment with me, and I look forward to walking you through to see how it can benefit you. All right, this week, I'm going to blow this up a little bit here so you can see it. This week is a big week. Today, of course, the market is closed. Tuesday, ADP weekly employment. That is going to be an impact on 30-year fixed rates because remember, employment numbers are key. For interest rates to continue their decline, the employment numbers have to come in weaker than expected. However, anything that comes in stronger than expected, like a strong employment, could actually take back some of our gains. Wednesday, mortgage apps. I want to talk a little bit more about mortgage apps. This is such a key thing that you can be watching to gauge what the future environment's going to be with buying a home. If we start seeing a huge uptick in mortgage applications, especially on the purchasing side, you can expect to see more families out there looking to buy a home this upcoming weekend. Whereas if you see a decline, you can expect the opposite. So it's a really good gauge to be able to tell the future and how many people are going to be looking. The Fed minutes on Wednesday is huge. Remember, it's not only what they do, it's almost what they say that matters to 30-year fixed rates or the bond markets. And so believe me, they will be listening to anything they say, pro or dovish or hawkish, as it relates to inflation, employment, and the market will react accordingly. On Thursday, we have jobless claims, pending home sales, and Friday, of course, we have personal consumption expenditures, Q4 GDP. These are all things, especially the PCE, that's going to move the market. So, I will update you if something dramatic happens that the market is going to shift. But let me bring back my hopes and dreams conversation. If we're not working together, or if you're thinking about refinancing, you don't know when the right time is, just click that QR code. Let's book an appointment. Let's see what's possible. No pressure, just information. And you get to decide if it's right for you to buy a home or if and when it's time to refinance. All right, my friends, I hope you guys are out there enjoying your day off. We're working. If you need anything, would love to connect. This is actually a great day to connect with families because they're of an unexpected holiday, not unexpected, but a Monday being off. If you need me, give me a call. Otherwise, enjoy your day. And I look forward to connecting next week. Take care.